Oh man, I'm dying. Okay, so I feel a little bit okay to make this video, so I'm going to make it because we just got the information. The AMA happened like a few hours ago. I just woke up because of course I was sleeping, trying to get better, and here we are at 2:30 in the morning. I'm literally going to record this and go right back to bed. So for you guys that didn't know what the AMA is, pretty much in the Grand Summoners official Discord, they did an AMA with the dev team. I think it was the community manager for Grand Summoners and of course Yama P that answered all the questions. So there's a ton of stuff here, so let's talk about it all. I'm going to literally just recap everything, or anything that I see that's interesting, I'm going to be putting it in this video. So the first question that they asked was, will we catch up to JP? Goodness, man. This is a difficult but important question which doesn't have an easy answer, because due to Grand Summoner global structure of taking the JP based game, it technically will never catch up since content is generated for the JP version first. However, we figure most players and fans are actually talking about the disparity in content compared to the JP version. We plan on fixing this more aggressively in the coming months, starting with new events, equips, bosses, ruins, and dungeon floors. Transitory for the Grand Summoners global team, as we added and trained new members, changed our development process for the better, and reassessed what's awesome about Grand Summoners global's player base and how to best cater to the diverse needs of an international audience. We look forward to announcing and implementing changes that will hopefully excite players in the coming months. So apparently they've been going through different members of the dev team and then also changing the way how they develop and stuff, but pretty much it's just like kind of like, not to like, you know, sound dickish or anything, this is kind of the same thing that they've always said, just worded a little bit differently whenever we talk about content and JP and all that, and then compared to global. So what direction are you taking GS in? This is the second question. We want players to be able to feel more that they are part of the amazing Grand Summoners global community more often. We also want players to understand the gameplay better and how to unleash its powerful potential with equipment, which is so vital in Grand Summoners. So we're aiming to add previously JP exclusive equips in Grand Summoners global that we couldn't offer due to licensing restrictions. Additionally, we aim to engage everyone with changes to the arena, raids, and other content so players can be rewarded for diverse playstyles and play goals. Grand Summoners Global will only enhance the JP version for our international audience, so be assured we're going to only add to Grand Summoners Global to make it more interesting, engaging, and more important, super fun going into 2020. So if you guys don't know what they're probably talking about with the exclusive equipment that's in JP, I'm pretty sure they're talking about stuff like Godzilla is the one that really comes to mind. Godzilla had a crossover with Grand Summoners Global, so I don't know if they're going to give us the Godzilla like collab for that equipment, or they're just going to like, you know, rename the equipment, but they're going to be the same thing as the, you know, JP counterparts. And also here they are saying that they are changing the way how arena raids and other content works. So not really works, so I'm pretty sure like the rewards we get from them, so either going to be more rewarding. I feel like they're going to rework the arena rewards, so after you get everything in arena, you know, it maybe resets or something, or they're just going to rework it entirely so we can get more crystals and all that good stuff from it. I don't know, I'm pretty sure the same thing will be done with raids, but we'll have to see. The next question we have is, will we always follow JP or will we deviate from them because it is a different market completely? As explained above, we will be deviating slightly, but not in ways that will affect Grand Summoners Global negatively. Rather than some content be JP exclusive forever, we want to see more variety in battle strategy. We also will be awakening units in a different pace and order than the Japanese version, especially in regards to standard, non-limited units. We agree with our players that it has been too long without awakenings for some units, and we're looking to address this and make 2020 the year Grand Summoners Global truly awakens. Regarding crossovers, we always choose one that will excite our international players as well as the JP version, so expect a lot, they capitalize this, of anime crossovers in 2020, and enjoy Kill la Kill in the meantime. This is kind of a little bit weirdly worded, I want to say, because it doesn't really have too much clarity to it. I mean, of course, you know, they're saying they're gonna do stuff differently, but like this isn't like a thing where it's gonna be like, oh my god, we know when this R awakening and stuff like that's coming out. They're gonna say literally, I don't know if they're pushing these back or they're trying to rush the non-limited units awakenings or whatever the case may be. And also them saying that they want more battle strategy. The way how they're gonna have to do that is either with boss mechanics that are annoying to deal with, or somehow they award you for using something that's not meta on an event, which I'm not for sure how they would do that. Also regarding the crossover thing, as me personally, you guys know that I do not care about crossovers at all in Grand Summoners. I play GS because I like the story and the unit design and all that good stuff. I didn't play because of the crossovers. The crossover is just a cool addition that, you know, was added to the game. But now, just considering the fact that GS is literally becoming a crossover game, I'm not for sure how I feel about it, especially because they say expect a lot of crossovers in Grand Summoners for 2020. So I'm dead ass thinking, since they said that, it's gonna be crossover back to back to back to back to back all the way through 2020, which is cool if the game was already done, I guess. Like, there's so much more story and stuff to build on, and even the crossovers that's releasing, it's not saying that, you know, they're not going to constantly build on their stories that they've, you know, made already. It's just the fact that that's kind of the thing that they're getting at, is that they're not really going to advance the GS story that quickly or anything. They're just going to be adding crossovers, which I wouldn't mind if it was any other game, because, you know, they do that stuff in moderation, which is good, but they're not doing it in moderation. They're just doing it all out. Literally, it's been like this for like the past like few months. In global, you guys noticed that we've got crossover after crossover to crossover. Kind of annoying after a while, but I mean, hey, at least we'll probably get some cool crossovers in 2020. We'll probably get, more than likely, the one that won the anime voting, plus like all the others after that. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do everyone from the anime voting, like the top 3. So I think the top 3 is Overlord, JoJo, and Rise of the Shield Hero. And then after that, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to do Demon Slayer and stuff. So, you know, there's probably a lot of stuff that they're going to do, because Demon Slayer would definitely excite both global and Japan. And I think same thing with JoJo, Overlord, you know, all that stuff. Okay, so number 5 here, I want to definitely point this one out because this seems pretty big. So what will you do to bring players back? Because while rerunning old collabs are great for new players and some older players who miss something, content is lacking. By the way, this is like preset questions that they had from the dev team specifically. Like, this is what they wrote for themselves. So this thing says, as explained above, we'll be adding more content, more core content, mind you, towards the end of the year, and lots more in 2020. We're aiming to achieve core content parity within 2020, with the bulk of improvements coming in the first half of the next year. So pretty much, you know, new content is coming, and expect majority of it to come within the first half of next year, or everything that they're doing to improve the game. And the last thing is what new content we'll be getting: ruin floors, dungeon layers, luck units, ultra luck units, Vits and Aces, Crest Palaces, new main story chapters, and Cilia, new raid bosses, magic mines, and more. And of course, it goes without saying, new units will also be introduced, including vital ones to clear new content. We'll be outlining these improvements as soon as possible once we're set on their release, so stay tuned for more updates. So that's the end of like the development teams, like, I guess, so you know, their preset questions. So the last question right there, number 6, the ultra luck units, like it says right there, that's Vits and Aces, the 140 luck, I guess that's what they would call them, the ultra luck units, which is all right. Also the Cilia thing right there, main stories chapters, and Cilia, that's in regarding to, you know, Dark Cilia. She'll be coming out, I'm assuming, whenever the new story chapters get released, or a little bit later. New raid bosses, magic mines, and more. Of course, magic mines is promised for sometimes at the end of this year. We're probably going to get the first mine. Hopefully it's not actually like December 31st or something, because that's been a meme in the community that they said that we're going to get mines in 2019, but that's going to be December 31st when we get it. So we'll have to see about that. So these are the community asked questions. I'm only going to read the ones that, you know, I find that are really important, and then we'll have to see about everything else. So one thing asked right here we got by Shed. He asked that this is a concern I've had for a while, now more than ever, with more and more people spending more time on games such as Crash Fever. Why do we get so little new content when games such as Epic 7 get its weekly? True, by the way. The majority of global is aware of new content because it comes due to the JP version being so far ahead. How long do we have before JP and global are current and both enjoying more frequent new content over reruns? So this right here says Mr. Yamagashi, of course Yama P, played Crash Fever and Epic 7, and he says they're not even fun, especially as RPGs. What? But to address your question seriously, given the Grand Summers Global team resources as well as the structure updates from the JP version, we do have to intertwine recurring content, including revivals. It also is important for new players to have a way to acquire essential equips. That said, we can do a better job to make it more engaging for existing and current players, so we'll think of ways to better cater to our long-term fans. Yama P wants to answer more questions, bring them on. So I don't actually know if Yama said what he said about Crash Fever and Epic 7. That's a hot take, essentially, because if I actually go to, here, I'll actually tell you guys right now, especially since I go to my Google Play Store, or not my Google Play Store, my game launcher for Grand Summoners. As you can see right here, of course, this is only Android players, but you see this is the current player base for the Galaxy gamers, or the Android player base for Grand Summoners. Now, if we look at Epic 7, you can see this is the current player base for Epic 7, at least for this week. I do want to say that's kind of a hot take. I'm not going to look at Crash Fever because I don't have Crash Fever on my phone. People aren't gonna play a game that's not fun. So I mean, and you can't say Grand Summers Global is so much smaller. I mean, it is, but the fact that Grand Summers Global has also had so many, you know, crossovers to try to bring in new players, kind of cap, because the only crossover that Epic 7's ever had is with Guilty Gear. And that crossover is fucking fantastic. But of course, opinion's opinion. But the same thing's being said here, by the way. It's just that it's the same exact thing that I've always said. They say the same thing that they've always said. They're going to try to do better and all that. So we can only hope that that's what they're going to do. So we have two questions here. So one says, are there any way to update the summon animations as such games like Dokkan, where there's over 80 plus animations? And the next one we have, because, you know, they get answered in the same text, is from the boy Ark. He says, do you plan to update features that aren't used anymore to serve an actual function? Examples: Adventures Guild, new food recipes, and new craftable equipment. So you see right here, this is what they say. Kidding aside, it comes down to adding new units, events, gameplay, or summon animations. I think Grand Summers Global community will prefer content over new summon animations, which requires a lot of testing as well. And then for the older features, they said sometimes our game designers may have ideas, but for the time being, there's quite a bit of content as well as more advanced content that we think players want more, so there's less priority on updating these elements right now. So it seems like they're definitely trying to focus on getting more content out. What this is pretty much saying is that they don't have any interest in updating them for the current future. Maybe in a year's time, but we'll see how GS is in a year's time. So I looked at all of them over, and that's pretty much like the main ones that I personally want to address. None of the other ones like seem necessarily too big for me. So what did this AMA answer? To me personally, nothing. It's all stuff that I already knew about. Like, you know, they're trying to do better. They're trying to add more stuff to the game. So I mean, like, it's nothing like I didn't know. It's not like, oh my god, I didn't know they were adding new content and stuff. You know, we already knew about this stuff and all that. The only thing that I didn't know about was, well, I want to say that I didn't know about it, but of course I kind of did, and that's them trying to just do tons and tons of crossovers. But even then, you know, it's kind of cool, I guess. It is what it is though, but maybe if you're a newer player, you got something on this AMA, but pretty much nothing was answered that I wanted answered personally. Like, I wanted like exact dates for stuff, but of course they're probably not going to give that out because they probably don't even know when it's going to be ready. But yeah guys, this is going to be it for the video, man. I'm going to go lay back down, take some Tylenol, and try to get better. So also, I know we hit 10k. This isn't a 10k video or anything. Trust me, I'll get something planned once I'm better, but for right now, I'm going to go.